Viewpoints on the talk station FM 107 AM 1240. It's a real pleasure to have with us this afternoon David Horowitz, and he is the author of a book, and it's coincidental, as I said at the opening of the program, that we have him on tonight. The coincidence was having the previous guest, Keisha Russell, on for First Liberty Institute related to the Chick-fil-A story. But our guest this afternoon, the author of Dark Agenda, The War to Destroy Christian America. And with that, and I'm going to use the word Professor Horowitz. Professor, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time.
There'd be a riot at any university, a faculty riot, if anybody made me a professor.
Well, hey, we need those riots. All right, let's talk about this. We were chatting earlier, as I mentioned to you, as I told you off air, about the topic of Chick-fil-A. And it's stunning. Your book was just released. That story in Chick-fil-A happens almost at the same moment. I just throw my hands up and say, and there's a question here? What is behind this?
Yeah, it's a mistake. Let me just say, I'm a Jew,
right,
and an agnostic, and I was raised by radicals. So I come as an outside witness, which I think makes my book a lot stronger. And I made this mistake, and people are still making it, to see the attack on Christians as a parochial issue. I was always sympathetic to Christians and to religious people generally because of the abuse they received. I hate calling those people liberals because they're vindictive bigots.
Right.
And they have no respect for people who disagree with them. But the whole thrust of my book is that this attack on Christians is an attack on America.
Right.
Because you can't learn this in public schools anymore. Mm-hmm. But every principle and every value that we hold dear as Americans, equality, inclusion, even diversity, it's Christian. They're all Christian ideas, and more specifically, they're all Protestant Christian ideas. This country could only have been created by Protestant Christians. So if you look at this Chick-fil-A thing, mm-hmm. What's Chick-fil-A's offense? Its offense is to give money to organizations that promote its ideas.
No.
So what you have here is a fascistic, totalitarian, communistic attack on the most fundamental rights that Americans have. Freedom of conscience is the number one. You have to be able to formulate your own opinions and then defend them. You have to have free speech. If you don't have that, you have nothing. You can't defend any of your freedoms. Aristotle said that courage was the most important of the virtues, because if you don't have courage, you can't defend any of the others. And that applies here. This assault on America, which has been developing since the Russian Revolution for sure, but has been focused on religious communities, is really a revolt on the American political democracy itself. And you see the Democrats, they want to do away with the Electoral College.
Right.
There's a Christian idea behind this. The founders, and Elizabeth Warren, she's going on and on about one person, one vote, true democracy. The founders never wanted that. The founders understood. The founders were Protestant Christians. 98% of the people who settled this and created this country were Protestants. And so they knew that the real problem in society is us.
Right.
It's people.
Right. You know, related to that, and this, I think it's this week, I've got to bring up Hofstra University. And they want to remove a statue of Thomas Jefferson. And, of course, under the guise that
we'd still have slavery.
Right, exactly. And yet, this is, to your point a moment ago, the Christian religion is the core element of our government. And by the way, I'm going to use the word Judeo-Christian, refined, if you will, with kind of a Protestant formulation, but it's that Judeo-Christian, that core.
Well, but the Protestant idea, you're right, of course it's a Judeo-Christian tradition, but the Protestant idea, there were two central ideas of the Protestant Reformation. One was salvation by faith. Mm-hmm. And what that is based on is the perception that we're all sinners. So none of us really deserves to go to heaven. You need a divine grace. And that is the central message that these leftists like this Cortez idiot don't get. They think they can change the world. They think they can make perfect harmony in the world, which is, kind of a return to the Garden of Eden. You can't do it because you're the problem. All these reformers, all these radicals, we can see how corrupt, and the government is corrupt. How can you depend on the government and give it all that power when it's in the hands of the Brennans and the Comeys and the McCabe's? Come on, and the Hillarys. Come on. And every Christian, even if they don't think about it quite this way, understands this in their heart because, that's what Genesis is about. That's what the Bible is about. No. We're the problem.
Exactly, and yet we feel that we have the ability, and of course modern technology has given us so much. We've learned everything from the concept of DNA, for example. We now have control over life for in some regards, but we don't have control over, and I'm going to use the word spirit, both in the sense of the spirit man, but also that moral spirit that we have, that energy. But it seems to me that there's an opportunity here through controlling devices, the internet, for example. This story here about how a city is going to deny a business the license because of its contributions. Professor, I'm using
contributions to promote an idea that they don't like. But they want to suppress. They want a one-party state. That's right. Totalitarians. They want illegals to vote. They want criminals to vote. They want to change. They want to get rid of the Senate because the Senate isn't democratic either.
Right. Now, it is interesting, and
Democrats are communists these days. I'm not talking about ordinary Democrats.
Okay.
Who probably don't see this. But the leadership of the Democratic Party is committed to communist agendas. And it begins with suppressing free speech. They just at Yale, there's a group of LGBTQ radicals who are the most vindictive, aggressive, prejudiced people on the planet. Have attacked, they call themselves outlaws, which tells you a lot. And they've got the universities to refuse to give stipends or support to any, and this is in the law school, anybody who supports the, what is the name of the organization? The Alliance to Defend Freedom.
Yep.
It's a Christian organization to defend freedom of conscience, which everything is based on. And believe me, our freedoms will evaporate really rapidly if the Democrats win the federal government. There's nothing that will restrain them. When you mentioned with DNA, we have some control.
Right.
Look, what are they doing with the control? They want to kill babies that have been born. How unhuman is that? And that's the leadership of the Democratic Party.
This, again, our guest, and I'm using the term, the description, because I think we are in class, Professor David Horowitz with us, the author, and by the way, the book is just out, Dark Agenda, The War to Destroy Christian America. David,
I need all the support in the Christian community. This book was written for this war. And of course, because I've been a secular sort of radical, although, like I say, with a lot of respect, and I've always defended the religious, even when I disagree. I mean, I don't agree on every issue, but our democracy, I mean, the genius of America is that we all live together and respect each other, no matter what our opinions are. And we try to settle our differences at the ballot box. And this is what the Democrats have set out to destroy, this whole system. It's frightening.
No, it is one interesting aspect of this. Before we wrap it up with you, you make a note in here that Donald Trump, his genuine love for this country, has galvanized Christians. And I've seen that firsthand. That is unique, is it not?
It is. And it shows, I always understood this as well, that you know, particularly northern and coastal radicals have nothing but contempt for religious people. They think they're stupid. I deal with this, and I have a chapter on the new atheist. I mean, one of the Dawkins, who was the leading new atheist, said that religion is irrational, it's dumb and dumber, super dumb. And I replied to that. Every creator of the scientific revolution, Newton, Galileo, even Darwin, were believers. And it was their belief that the universe is designed that led them to their discoveries. So it's so insulting. And but anyway,
we're living among leaders with a certain degree of hubris and arrogance, are we not? And they have the answers.
They think. Remember what the serpent said to Adam in the garden: "You do not eat of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil," which means you have to know and do evil.
Right.
And if you do that, you shall be as God. That's the seduction. The seduction is you can act as gods. Every time that moron, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, opens her mouth, you hear that serpent coming right through there. I can reorder the whole world. I can remake it. Everybody before me is stupid. All I need is the power of the printing press and the government and the military, and I'll make you guys. I'll redeem you. This is the worst. Hubris doesn't even begin to describe this megalomania. And all these progressives have it. And that's why they have such contempt for people who disagree with them. Because they think that they're right and they're on a mission from history and they're going to change the world. And that will justify any crime. They will defend any crime, including killing born babies.
I know. It is stunning. David Horowitz, our guest this afternoon. The book, Dark Agenda, The War to Destroy Christian America. We're seeing it happen right before our eyes. David, as always, I do appreciate your leadership. I also appreciate your work. And by the way, they can find more information out from you, can they not, from just going to Front Page?
Yeah, the book you can get, of course, at Amazon. Right. You can also get it at frontpagemag.com. I've written a raft of books. I have a website called blackbookoftheamericanleft.com where I've got to have all my books are up there.
All right.
And, here's the thing. I came out of, my parents were card-carrying communists. And when I saw how evil the new left was, it really wanted to destroy America. It didn't care about the Vietnamese. When the communists were slaughtering the Vietnamese, the left didn't have any protests.
Right.
But what I learned from that is if you're part of that movement and you see the evil, the first thing you want to do is warn everybody. And Obama, he comes from the same background I did. He was raised by communists. He never broke with the communist movement. Nor Valerie Jarrett, nor David Axelrod, his two key advisors. And I just see this guy, what's his name, Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, yeah.
The mayor?
He
comes from a communist family.
Right.
Of course he likes the Green Deal.
David Horowitz, the book, Dark Agenda, The War to Destroy Christian America. I'm recommending this to the audience. And by the way, go to the website if you want to get more information. Front page. This is David Horowitz.
Front page mag.
Front page mag. Thank you very much.
For magazine.
Yes, thank you. David, thank you very much for being with us this evening. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Viewpoints on the Talk Station, FM 107, AM 1240.